watching Thrifty Kaniffy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slippy and Thrifty Show. I am Thrifty, and here's my guest host,
Slippy.
How you doing, Slippy?
I'm very good, John. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So
Excellent.
we're going to be looking at a Smoky Mountain Knife Works video today called "The Knife Had Everyone Talking," and they're going to be talking about the new Spade series knives from Rough Ryder. And they've actually got two different versions of these knives. They've got the black Appaloosa. Can you want to show that one on the screen there? And then they've got a new one that they've just announced in this video called the Cinnamon Stagbone Spade series, and it's got Damascus blades. So two pretty cool series, and we're going to let TC take it from here, and then we'll break in as we have things that we want to comment about. All right, here we go.
Go for it.
These are the knives that everybody's talking about. Let's light it up. All right, folks, we've got some brand new Rough Riders that we've got the samples in. We don't have the actual knives in just yet, but we wanted to tease them and show you guys what we've got coming and what we've designed. Now, we have worked with a lot of different people that have started out these designs. However, I kind of want to give a little bit of a disclaimer. All of these designs are not made by one single person. They come from old catalogs. That's where we draw our inspiration from.
Okay. So let's speak about that for a moment. I'm kind of having to try to interpret what he's saying, because I think he's kind of trying to be a little careful about how he's saying it. But this feels to me, I could be wrong, like he's saying that Andy Armstrong was the designer of it, and then he's just drawn from old catalogs, which is what he's always done. I know he did that with the Appalachian Jack. They even talked about that in another video Rosecraft did, that he pulled that from some old catalog and just kind of remade the knife to and then put
his sort of specs,
and then he put his own little twist on it. So this sounds to me very much like what Andy was doing. So if maybe some of the other in-house designers were involved in this, I'm sure they probably had a part in or a role in it, but it sounds like
he was like the main sort of designer for it, and they've sort of just continued on what he left off with.
Right. Like, because I know this is like a 2-year process, right, for all of this stuff to get, from concept to production. It can take like 2 years. Maybe these knives even took longer. I don't know. But there's still, I think, some Andy Armstrong influence there. And I don't know. TC's not mentioned them by name. There might be something you could read into that as well. I won't get into that, but it just seems to me like it's kind of how I'm interpreting what he's saying. All right, so let's go ahead.
Yeah, I'm getting the same sort of thing.
Okay.
For our Rough Ryder series, every single one of these knives have been made before in the past, and we have dug through history and found a lot of these patterns and made tweaks to them to kind of make them more useful, more our own, and better for production purposes in the modern era.
Adding swedges.
Yeah. That's all we have to say about that.
And I also want to say that nothing leaves this store without Kevin and Tyler's stamp on it, making sure that that is exactly the way that they want it and the way that they want it done. So that being said, we're going to go through this new Rough Ryder in Spade series. This is the Appaloosa bone. Now,
okay, so right there, he called it the in Spade series. You have a box, not handy, but you have a box that says Spades.
It just says Spades.
Spades, and then Appaloosa on the Appaloosa one that you have there. So I'm not certain that that's the legit name of that. I think it's just.
But we all know how it goes on the SMKW website.
Well, that's kind of what I was alluding to. It's like the naming is real fuzzy.
Sort of like,
Yeah.
Now, first I'm going to show you the traditional Coke bottle that you guys know and love. You've seen this one. Everybody's been talking about this one online. And it has been one that has been extremely popular. And we wanted you to see what other models we've got coming for this series. Now, Again, this
Now
is
that particular one he's showing there, you can see how much different in color. It's quite a bit lighter than yours. Yours is quite a bit darker.
Yeah, quite a dark bone on there. But one of the things I love about this new series, they really seem to have stepped up their quality control. Like the fit and finish on this is, well, it's flawless. You can't see any light through it. There's no gaps.
That kind of leads me into one of the things that was a little bit puzzling to me. It's like all these patterns that they're introducing in the series are new to Rough Ryder. Like they've never made these before. Now they made similar knives, maybe even with the same like name for the pattern, but they're not the same. You know, they're smaller. They have two blades. They're different. You know, so like they made a Coke bottle before, but it's nothing like this one. So these are all new, and you would think that any of the new introductions would be in the Rough Ryder Reserve series. And so they've just kind of done some really strange things, I think, with the Rough Ryder Reserve series now, because they now introduced a lot of modern knives with it. So does this mean that maybe they're not going to be focusing on that as much now? I don't know. Seems kind of a little odd. But yeah, this almost felt like this was going to be more
it's weird.
High end.
Yeah, they focused a lot on the Rough Ryder Reserve at the start on the traditional stuff. And like John said, it's gone massively modern.
Mm-hmm. Lately.
Now there's loads of modern knives in it. And I haven't really seen a traditional one released for a while, have you?
No.
Or the Roundup, maybe. But that's
the Roundup. Yeah, the Roundup. So it hasn't died or anything, but it's just I don't know. It's just interesting that they would release all these new patterns in the regular Rough Ryder line.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be the traditional Coke bottle right here, and that's going to be a nice small coping blade and then a clip point blade right there, both with half stops, brass liners right there, nickel silver on the bolsters, pins, and the shield, the Spade shield right there. Now, all of the models that we've got coming in, this one right here is going to be the Easy Open. Now, this is
okay. So I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when TC takes a knife from the table to show it, he can't just go like this. I think it's 100% in my head now. Every time I see him, I can't stop myself kind of laughing a little bit inside because he does this.
Would you like me to
thing
demonstrate?
where he puts his whole body into it. It's like a whole thing, right? It's like I'm in front of the camera.
Yep. I think it's called the TC effect.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely showmanship, right? So props to TC. He's got a little flair to him, right?
This is a nice large single blade, easy open lock back right there. And want to go ahead and say, you'll notice on a couple of these that the easy open cutout right here actually has a nail nick integrated right there. Now, a lot of these original designs didn't have necessarily the easy open, or maybe they did, but they had the long pull back here. We actually changed that design because of input that we received from customers.
Okay, I want to say something about this too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was one of those customers that when I bought the easy open sway back, their Rough Ryder Reserve one, I made that similar comment that like, why does the nail nick not line up to the easy open portion? And
it makes no sense.
It had a nail nick, but it was like further up the blade, and I don't think it didn't have a long pull. It just had the one.
No, it was just a small nail nick.
Right. And I was like, well, why doesn't that line up with the open part? It just wouldn't make more sense. But I don't know if they were, I mean, I'm not going to be arrogant enough to think that was my input they're talking about. But like, I think the general consensus was that they would have preferred to have the nail nick over the easy open, but I don't know that they necessarily wanted you to put two nail nicks on there.
I definitely didn't want two nail nicks. You could have just removed this one and put one here. That would have been perfect. But yeah. No, now there's two. It's not even the same nail nick. It's two types of nail nick on there.
So I found that to be a little odd. I probably would have preferred it just had the one. Or if you weren't going to put the nail nick over the open, just leave it the way it was. because I don't think you need two nail nicks on there.
I mean, if you're going to do
And
that, just
they
just remove them
requested that
both.
there be an easy open, a nail nick where the easy open is as well. So that is why we did that. This one's got a really nice long spear point blade right there. Nice lock back on that. Beautiful smooth bone and nice Appaloosa finish to that. So that's going to be the easy open. Then we've also got the bare head, or excuse me, this one's
All right. So what do you think overall of that easy open?
For me, it's not for me. I don't like the double nail nick.
That really puts you off enough not to buy it?
For a locking knife, yes. If it was a slip joint, I'd probably be more inclined to buy it. But because it's a locker, I'm never going to be able to carry it.
You already have like an anti-bias for the locking knife.
If it was a slip joint, it wouldn't put me off. I think the only fact that the slip joint and the lock means it's pretty much no for me. I mean, the double nail nick and the lock means it's a no.
I'm kind of on the fence with that one. I'm still undecided. I like it, but if I'm going to be forced to choose, from the budget standpoint, it may not make the top of the heap.
It's going to be the Upswept bullet trapper. So this is going to be like an Upswept bow trapper, but we're calling this the Upswept bullet trapper. And I want to.
Okay, so say what you will about the other designs, but this was 100% has to be an Andy Armstrong design. You want to show the other knife? Yeah. Okay, now just look at this from the single blade perspective. Okay, that's the new Rosecraft, right? I can't remember the exact name that he's given this one, but
Little River Bend Skinner.
Little River Bend Skinner. Okay, and this is in the white, and then he made a black. Now, he's also made the bow trappers in small and large with Rough Ryder before. Slightly different, but very, very similar. He's just changed the handle shape slightly at the tail end there at the butt end, to make it maybe a little more comfortable. But this is definitely an Andy Armstrong design. That's the point I'm trying to make. And so there's no denying that he had involvement in this.
No doubt about it.
Okay, is that the old Rough Ryder one?
This is the Rough Ryder one, yeah.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, you can see how they've changed the handle.
It looks maybe to be a little bit less aggressive of a curve on the new one.
Well, no, the difference is the angle on the edge. It's more rounded on that. This one's got more of a angular bottom half of the grip on the bare end there. Yeah, the butt end of it.
This one too. One of the changes that we made to these just in the last couple of months is actually the tang stamp right here. So you'll notice the tang stamp's a little bit different. That is our new 30th anniversary.
So you'll see that it's got the 30 on there. That's why I say they're not going to be able to use that long. I mean, unless they use it beyond where they probably should, because it'll be on the anniversary at that point. But I see this being like on the packaging, much like we've had on, 25 anniversary.
Rough Ryder tang stamp that you will find on all of these.
I know it's probably a lot and they'll never do it, but they could
celebrating Rough Ryder's 30th anniversary right there. So really excited about that 30th anniversary coming up very soon. Next up is going to be one of my favorites, and that is going to be the Barehead Doctor's Knife. I really dig this one because it's got the long pull. It's nice and slim, nice rounded bolster, and slim overall too. Just a beautiful, beautiful little pocket knife, and going to be a traditional Barehead Doctor's Knife pattern right there with a nice flat bottom. Really dig this thing. Again, with that 30th anniversary shield, nice with the half stop as well. Again,
I think this is another Andy Armstrong design, simply because when he went to Rosecraft, what did he make? He made a medicine style knife, the surgeon's knife.
I mean, I actually really like that, though. I like the fact that it's a bare end and there's no bolster at the bottom. Mm-hmm. I think it looks really classy. And I don't even like doctor's knives, and I'm probably going to buy that one.
100% agree with you. That's not a pattern that I typically, seek out. But
I have one, and it was from that Queen's Saw Cut series, but that was to complete the series.
Yeah. Now this one, I think there's something about the appeal of not having the bottom bolster, there being a bare end like that. You don't have
mixed with like the Appaloosa bone as well, and it's a single blade, which I know people like the spatula on the doctor's knife, but I prefer the single bladed ones. I think.
Right, and I think people will be like, well, it's not really a doctor's knife because it doesn't have the tamp on the bottom or whatever they call that. Yeah, I know. That's kind of why I like it more.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to find half stops on all of these. I've already shown the Coke bottle. Next is going to be the one blade easy open jack. And this is going to be another one just like the lockback, where we, because of customer input, added the nail nick right there for the easy open. Because
okay, so I would have to say that this particular one is the one that most people have, from what I've seen, had the most positive feedback about.
Everyone's going to buy this one. Yeah, it's got the double nail nick, and I don't like that, but it's a slip joint. It's got an easy open. I can carry it here in the UK, and it's got that, but I'm just going to buy it. There's nothing else I'm going to say. I'm 100% buying that one. As soon as it's available, I'm buying it.
Yeah, and I think the similarity between, well, it's a little shorter, isn't it? It's not as long as the other one, but the lockback version of this. So, yeah, I love my lockbacks. I still think I'm going to buy this one instead of the other one. If I'm forced to choose, I'm definitely picking this one over the other one. But I may end up getting both. I don't know.
It's just a no-brainer for me. I think it's a great pattern.
We had a lot of people asking for that right there. And this is going to have a nice spear point blade on it. Really nice one blade. This is going to be my favorite so far. Very similar to a Barlow, but it's going to be a one blade easy open jack. That's really what this pattern is. So nice brass liners again, nickel silver on the bolsters, pins, and the shield right there, and just an absolutely beautiful knife, and a lot of real estate on that Appaloosa bone right there. Next is going to be the two-bladed swell center jack. So this is going to be a true swell center pattern right there that goes down to the same size on either end. And this is the two-blade version. Got the clip point and got the small coping blade right there on the other end. Then we've got the...
You want to say something about that one that's bugging me?
Yeah, it's not a jackknife. That's the main thing. Is a jackknife is two blades out of one end. That's quite clearly not. So, I mean, that's just what they're calling it. So that's what we'll probably call it. But we both know that it's not that.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like a large, I don't know, pen knife. I don't know. It's not a pen knife because it's really too large to be a pen knife. But
I'm trying to think of it. I can't even think of a way to describe.
Maybe even a half whittler. Maybe, I don't know. Half whittler, maybe. I don't even know.
Yeah, I would go with half whittler, but then again, it's the same size either end. It's equal ended, so it's just not a jackknife.
It's just not a jackknife. I agree.
The two-bladed Senator. Now, why is this one called the Senator? I don't know, but I think it's because it looks crooked.
Well, that's a funny little joke by TC there. What do you think of the cant on this one?
I mean, it's not ideal, but it's similar to what we've talked about before, though. It's like
why with our sow bellies, like the roper sow bellies and so forth.
Yeah, it's just like what sort of things are like a no-go for you when you're buying a knife, something like that. That's not too much of a cant for me not to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I bought the roper sow belly, and that's got one hell of a cant on it, and I still like that. As long as there's enough to like about the knife, I'm still going to buy that one.
Price being equal, I think they're going to be pretty close. You buy this Arthur Wright Senator, or do you buy this?
Arthur Wright.
Okay.
So I think that just fits this knife right there. Really nice Wharncliffe blade on the other end, and just a really, really cool pattern. Very useful pattern as well, because it fits in the hand really nice, and really good work knife as well. Next up is going to be the Capital Intern. No comments on that one because I will probably get canceled if I try to do comments on that one. Nice coping blade on the back end, a little sheep's foot there, and a nice spear point blade up at the front end right there. And just a really cool slim two-bladed pattern on that Capital Intern. And then, of course, we've got the Streamline fix.
That didn't appear to be particularly slim to me.
No, it looked quite chunky, to be honest. I wouldn't have called that a slim. And that looked more like a Senator than the Senator did.
Yeah. And more like a penknife.
Yeah. Again, though, I'm still going to buy it.
Okay. What about, but you want that one over the other?
I think I would prefer that one to the actual Senator they called. I think, yeah.
Even with the smaller handle? Okay.
Even with a smaller handle.
Right here. That thing is absolutely gorgeous. Now, in addition, one thing that
Look at this thing. Not a massive like collector of fixed blades, but this is cool.
I've got one fixed blade. I'm going to buy that. I love how, you can see at the end, you've got the the steel at the end and the bones sort of like almost like an inlay, or it's like on top and there's a bit of a, is that like a lanyard hole at the bottom? I just really like how it's done.
The one has,
yeah, there's a bit you can see comes off the end. Yeah.
I just really like how that's done. It's clean, it's smooth. There's enough of a finger choil you haven't got to worry about having a guard. It's obviously going to be like a sort of a bird and trout knife, like size knife, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's one I'm going to pick up just for the collection.
I'm just trying to think, like, how often do you see a shield on a fixed blade? It doesn't happen very often.
No.
And I think that's really unique and has a really unique shape. And I like the way that they extended the tang out the back to give you the lanyard hole. I think it's a cool design. It's one of those where, okay, I see where you're trying to go with your own little take, but I like the way you're going with that little take. Whereas a lot of times the little added features are the ones that most annoy me. It's quite the opposite with this one.
Yeah, I borderline love that knife. I think it's really well done.
Seen yet that we want to show is all of these patterns are going to also be coming in our burnt cinnamon bone spade series with Damascus blades. So you get the burnt cinnamon bone with the Damascus blades in all of these same patterns. We've only got a couple of these to show. We've got the doctor's knife, we've got the one blade easy open jack, and we've also got the fixed blade as well. And so really nice. Those are just some of the new patterns that we wanted to show, and all the different ones that we wanted to show coming out in that Spade series. Let us know in the comments down below which one is your favorite and which one you are picking up. As always, folks, it's been me.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. The cinnamon bone stag series with the Damascus blades. I'll just be real frank. I don't think I'm going to buy any of them. I'm just not a fan of Damascus blades. I think it's an added expense for something I don't want.
I really don't like the style of them either. Like Damascus isn't for me. There was talk, I know a while ago, we saw a PDF document or something they mentioned T10 carbon steel, which is a bit of a kick in the teeth, because I was really hoping that was going to come out. I was waiting for that. The cinnamon stag on the handles, it looks great. Myself and John both love the previous cinnamon stag with T10.
I'm not 100% sure that the PDF file translates to what this series is, because if I recall, now, obviously that's like preliminary, but it was more of a black and white style stag, whereas this is the more traditional orangish and brown stag. So I don't know, maybe they are going to have a third one. I don't know, maybe they just deleted that one. I don't know.
Yeah, again, maybe they changed it up.
Speculation, but they did go from that series having T10, now the one they introduced having Damascus. And I think everybody would have been a lot more.
I think it was a big mistake, personally. I know T10. Some people, I've had a couple of comments on this actual review I did of this one, saying they're looking forward, since this video came out, it's looking forward to the Damascus ones. Right. Personally, though, it's not for me.
I'm sure they'll be there. They'll have fans of it. But
nothing against it. Like if that's what you like, go for it.
Yeah.
But myself personally, I would have much rather the T10. I think it's a fantastic steel to have, and it's more of a user steel. Whereas this Damascus steel, it's going to be more like a collection steel, isn't it? It's not going to perform as well, is it?
I don't think so. No. I would have just preferred 440A, and just if you weren't going to do anything special with the blades, and just have the second handle material and have the option of either. But maybe they thought that was too repetitive, so they had to do something different. I mean, I could think of a lot of things that they've done in the past that they could have done here. They could have done like a titanium coated blade. They could have done, just a stone wash finish. They could have done a lot of different little little things with it, and had something that was a little bit of a variant to the normal mirror finish 440A stuff. But Damascus, I don't know. That was a bit of a disappointment, I'd say. But teach their own. I know there's going to be those that like it. I don't think it's unattractive, but I just don't want to pay more for something I don't want. You know what I mean?
No. I'd rather pick up the patterns I'm not particularly fond of in the black Appaloosa bone than I would pick the ones up I like in the cinnamon stag with the Damascus steel. I think I would probably, I'm probably going to do that instead, just because I just don't like the Damascus.
I mean, I could maybe see this as a series that there's going to be people where they buy every one of them, just going to have the whole set. I think this is kind of one of those series that you could see people doing that. Because, I mean, like even the fixed blade, I like that.
Yeah, and, I can't even use a fixed blade here in the UK. I can't carry it anywhere unless I go camping or something. I only have one, and I'm going to buy it. It's just so well done. It's nice and slender. It looks really classy as well. It's just one I'm going to go for.
So overall, I would say I like all the designs. There's not one of them that I don't like. The issue I would have is the double nail nicks, which I didn't really care for. And in the Senator, the larger one, I think it's kind of bulky, a little bit wide. Kind of like some of the issues that people have had with the Rough Ryder Reserve multi-bladed knives. Other than that, really not a lot of complaints. I just don't know how much I need like the Skinner looking one with two blades when I've got a single blade, which I would have probably preferred.
Yeah. So that's probably the only one. Even I think I even prefer the lockback one more than that double bladed Skinner. That might be one of the only ones I just sort of give it a miss. And like I said earlier, the doctor's knife, I don't even like the pattern. I just think it looks great in that bone.
Well, I don't think it's as much of a doctor's knife as most doctor knives are. So
yeah,
it kind of makes to me for a better knife a little bit in appearance. And it doesn't have the longer body. So maybe like the blade is a more reasonable length for probably the amount of tension that it has on it. So you don't end up with like the whole Granddaddy Barlow effect for me, or
with the sloppy pull.
Yeah, it's just got too light a pull for the length of the blade, But no, or toothpick too, same kind of a situation there. That's why I don't like the larger toothpicks. But again, I think they've done a really good job overall. I commend them for coming out with these like all original for the regular Rough Ryder line. I never would have expected that, and so overall, I'm pretty psyched for it, and looking forward to getting these.
Yeah, I mean the price point on the back of the fit and finish, you're getting so much for your money when you get fit and finish now. That Coke bottle I had was pretty much perfect.
What was the price of the Coke bottle, even in the UK?
In the UK, I paid 21 something or £22, and it's something like, is it like $17 on Chicago?
It's like it was 16 change, almost 17, I think.
So. And that's ridiculous value for what you're getting.
Yeah. So I look forward to reviewing the one that Slippy had in hand there. He's already done his review. I have one on the way, so I'll be doing a review of that one as well. We're also going to be doing a Sunday show. This is just a intermediate fill-in. This is why this is episode 22.5, because we unexpectedly saw this video and said, you know what, we should probably make a video on this.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've done that. But we're still going to be live Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Central Time, 4:30 p.m. UK time. So make sure you check out our live show Sunday. But that's going to do it for us, guys. I am Thrifty. He is
Slippy.
Any final thoughts, sir?
Please come and watch us on Sunday. We have a great time, great laugh. Last week we did, what was it, the best traditional knife, and we had the chat sort of telling us what they would want on the knife, and we came up with something ridiculous, wasn't it? Like a sod buster handle, 2 blades, spear point, and a sheep's foot blade, bolsters either end.
And this week's topic, we're going to talk about all the challenges of having a knife collection.
Yeah, the barriers you come against, some of the things that you do, you don't for your knives. But yeah, come along, have a chat with us. It's always going to be a great time.
Yep. So until next time, guys, we'll see you then. Take care.
Peace out.